welcome back to my kitchen at No Recipe Required. I've got for you tonight It's daytime. I've got for you today a soup. I'm going to do a chicken tortilla soup. I love doing this. Like once it turns winter to spring, the flavors are really vibrant, but it's still got some of that heartiness holding over from the winter. Now this is absolutely perfect if you've got like leftover chicken. If you roasted a chicken, you've got some left, pull the meat off the bone. I'm going to do the chicken from scratch to show you how to do it, but by all means, use leftovers. Go out. You can even buy like a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store. Use that for your chicken. Other than that, it's just some veggies, some spices, some chicken stock, some beans. Really, really easy to make. It's one of those things you can do in probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, ready to go. Even better if you leave it overnight the next day. But you're going to love it. We'll finish it up with some nice garnishes at the end. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, chicken tortilla soup. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and cook our own chicken for this. You could easily use leftover chicken, rotisserie chicken. It's all good. I've got 2 breasts that I've just kind of cut up into a few chunks there. Add a little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons. Doesn't really matter. A good couple pinches of salt. Cumin. Now, you got to kind of decide. Cumin's not hot, but you got to decide whether you want hot or not. I'm going to go with a fair amount of heat. I've got some cumin, some chili pepper powder, again, which are neither hot. And then I've got a little bit of pepper here, ancho pepper. Any of those work. You know, chipotle, whatever you got, is going to do the job. Add a little bit of heat in there. We're just going to toss this chicken together, make sure it's nicely coated. And then I've got a pan over on the stove, heating up. We're going to sear this off, get the outside nice and brown. That's going to give the soup a good amount of flavor, and then we'll cook it off nice and slow. All right, let's sear off our chicken. I've got a little bit of oil on the chicken already, so you're not going to need a ton in the pan. I got it already on the heat. It's going to be nice and hot. I'm going to lay our chicken down. You want to hear some sizzling as we lay it in there. And we're going to quickly brown all sides of the chicken. And then once I get that done, it's still going to be raw in the middle. So what we're going to do, we'll turn the heat down. We'll add some chicken stock and just slowly braise this chicken till it's nice and tender. Okay, so we're just turning our chicken over. We got a nice sear on that side. Again, that's going to bring a lot of flavor to the soup. We're going to let this go for about another 2 minutes. And then we're going to cover it with a little bit of chicken stock. All right, so our chicken is browned on all sides now. So we got to cook it through because it's still raw in the middle. I got chicken stock here. I'm just going to cover the chicken kind of 3/4 of the way. This is really braising it. It's going to flavor the chicken stock. It's going to cook the chicken through. And most importantly, it's going to get that chicken super nice and tender and moist, ready for our soup. All right, let's keep going on our chicken tortilla soup. Super easy to make this one. I've got my chicken going right here. Again, you can always use leftovers. What I'm going to add to our big pot, all coarsely chopped because it doesn't really matter. We're going to blend it up anyway, is an onion. I've got a poblano pepper in there. I've got a green bell pepper. I've got a red bell pepper, and I've got about 6 garlic cloves, a good amount of garlic in there. I'm just going to add that to a pot with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to let all these vegetables wilt down, release their flavors. We'll give it a good amount of salt because that's going to help break down the vegetables. And just cook them over medium heat for probably 10-15 minutes until the onions are starting to become translucent. You don't want to brown anything, so if you need to lower the heat, go ahead and lower the heat. All right, so our vegetables now are cooked way down. I'm going to go ahead and add in, call it 2 to 3 tablespoons of, what do you call this? Tomato paste. It's nice when it comes in these little tubes, toothpaste tubes. Stir that in. I'm going to let it cook on the stove as well. That gives it a nice kind of deeper flavor. And when we come back, we're going to add some more tomatoes. Okay, so our chicken has been just slowly braising. You just barely want it on a simmer for about 45 minutes or so. And it's hot. It's starting to get really fork tender. You can pull it apart nice and easily. So I'm going to kill the heat. I'm going to keep it covered and just let it cool down to where I can handle it. Okay, so our tomato paste is now browned out. We're going to add spices, just give them a chance to bloom, we'll say. I'm going to go with the same 3 that we used in our chicken, a little bit of ancho, cumin, and chili powder. Go a little bit heavier on the cumin, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Stir those in, let them go for a few minutes. Then I'm going to add some tomatoes. All right, guys, 3 minutes or so. Nah, you don't even need that long. 2 minutes. We're going to add 2 cans. What are these? 16, 15, 14 ounces of fire roasted tomatoes. And again, I'm just going to let these cook down, concentrate the flavors for probably 7 or 8 minutes. Again, you just want to watch your heat. Make sure you don't scorch or burn the bottom of the pan. Okay, now our veggies, or tomatoes rather, cooked down quite a bit. I'm going to hit it with chicken stock. I like using low sodium chicken stock. I'm going to go with, what are these now? 32 ounces. This is going to be, I guess, 64 ounces of chicken stock in there. And then I've also got, if it's not too hot, this is the broth that we cooked our chicken in. I just pulled the chicken out. It's resting on a plate. I'm going to add that in there as well because that's lots of awesome flavor. And I'm just going to let this simmer for 15, 20 minutes. Vegetables are already pretty soft, but I want to get them fully kind of softened before we blend the soup together. Okay, guys, so we've now cooked down everything. All the veggies are nice and soft in there. I'm going to use a little stick blender to blend it all together. You can certainly use the regular blender. And you just want to puree it until it is nice and smooth. Okay, so once it purees smooth, you want to go ahead and give it a taste for both texture and flavor. And, ooh, that's hot. This one needs a little bit more salt. And then I'm also going to, tomatoes tend to be, they can be a bit sour or bitter. And so what I'm going to do is add maybe a couple teaspoons of sugar, which will just balance it out a little bit. You can use honey as well. And this is pretty much good to go. What I'm going to do, let's go shred our chicken. We're going to add our chicken back in along with some black beans. Okay, so I'm about to go over shred up my chicken, but I'm going to let the beans cook a little bit longer than the chicken. Not that they need to cook all that long. But I'm going to add 2 cans of black beans to our pureed soup. Let them go for about 15 minutes or so. Okay, so we cooked our chicken, covered in that chicken broth in our pot there. Got it nice and tender to where you can pull it apart easily with your hands. And I'm just going to shred it down to nice bite-sized pieces that we can put back into our soup. All right, so we've given our beans, 10, 15 minutes. Just kind of loosen up a little bit. They're already cooked. And then our shredded chicken. Again, this is already cooked, so it's not like we want to put it in there for an hour or anything like that. We're going to just add it in and then stir it up, let it heat up. This is looking maybe just slightly thick to me, so I'm going to thin it out. Frankly, by the time I get the water in here, the chicken will be warmed up, and we can go ahead and serve this up. All right, guys, let's go ahead and plate up our chicken tortilla soup. We got that shredded chicken in there, the black beans. Now, you may always have to thin it out. You can always do that with a little bit of water, a little more stock. And then garnishes, I'm going to go throw a little bit of cheddar cheese on there. Optional. You use a different cheese if you want. Maybe lay a few tortilla chips right on the side. And then for garnish, for a little green, I've got some fresh cilantro leaves. And again, you could always skip it. You can throw sour cream on here as well. All of it is beautiful. And there you go with chicken tortilla soup. You're gonna love it. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required. Chicken tortilla soup. This is it's one of my favorites. Actually, one of my wife's favorites. She asked me to make it this time around, so I decided to tape it for you guys. Go ahead and make it. Let me know how it turns out. A couple other links for you. Another great spring soup. I've got an asparagus soup that you're gonna love. Again, really easy to make. You can do this one in even less time. It's so simple, so delicious. And since we got Cinco de Mayo right around the corner, here's a link to my all-time favorite tacos. Tacos barbacoa, braised beef taco. It's absolutely spectacular. Click the link. You'll find actually a few other taco recipes there as well. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.